Hi friends, this video will be a little different than the previous ones. This is the first, hopefully, in the line of many more to come, where I talk to you about the cultural context of ministry in Hungary. This particular time we're going to discuss August 20th and how Christianity arrived to Hungary. I hope you'll enjoy it. August 20th is more than a national holiday for Hungarians. It is a day where history, identity, and faith converge into something sacred. On this day, we remember not just a coronation, but a transformation that echoes through a millennium. Stephen, István in Hungarian, was crowned king in the year 1080, with the blessing of the Pope and a crown sent from Rome. A simple sentence in history books, but behind these words lies one of Europe's most remarkable transformations, the metamorphosis of nomadic pagan tribes into a settled Christian nation. What forces drove this change? How did it reshape the soul of a people? And what do the choices made 1,000 years ago mean for Hungary today? Picture Eurasia in the early 5th century. Climate change, yes, even then, and the search for new homeland was driving peoples westward in great waves of migration. Among these wanderers came 7 Magyar tribes, crossing vast steppes to find their destiny in the Carpathian Basin during the 9th century. These tribes formed a loose alliance, bound by blood ties, with each tribe governed by its own chieftain. These leaders met in tribal councils to make strategic decisions, guided by the spiritual wisdom of the tátos or shaman, who bridged the earthly and spiritual realms in the Magyars' shamanistic belief system. For nearly 7 decades, from the late 9th century, the Magyars launched over 40 daring raids across Central, Western, and Southern Europe. They returned with immeasurable treasure, their mounted warriors striking fear across the continent. But all this changed in a single day. The Battle of Augsburg in 955 marked a decisive turning point. The age of nomadic raiding, once necessary for survival, was ending. The Magyar defeat signaled that the old ways could no longer sustain them against increasingly powerful neighboring kingdoms. Enter Géza, the Grand Prince of Hungarians and father of Stephen. He possessed the vision to see what others could not. To avoid annihilation, the Magyars had to integrate into the European community of nations. This required 2 fundamental transformations: embracing Christianity and creating a new form of state. It was a complex and daunting mission that would reshape everything the Magyars had ever known. To transform a loose tribal confederation into a centralized, strengthened state, Géza needed peace, both from internal divisions and external threats. Diplomacy became his tool, built strategically through marriage alliances. Géza married Sarolt, daughter of the greatest Magyar tribal leader, then expanded his diplomatic network through his children's marriages, suddenly ending centuries of isolation and connecting Hungary to the broader European world. But marriage was only the beginning. Géza brought missionaries to the land and converted to Christianity himself, expecting his people to follow. Yet his faith remained unstable. He embraced the new religion while clinging to pagan customs, embodying the tension his entire people would face. Through countless battles, Géza defeated the old tribal authorities and organized a new, loyal army. He transformed his residence into a fortified stone palace. But all these efforts would have been meaningless without solving the succession crisis. Under pagan custom, the eldest male relative, not the son, inherited leadership. This meant that upon Géza's death, the throne would not pass to Stephen. Recognizing this threat, Géza summoned the nation's nobles, secured their oath of loyalty, and designated Stephen as his successor. However, when Géza died in 997, Koppány, who held legitimate claim under the old law, immediately rebelled against Stephen. But Stephen had prepared for this moment. His wife, Gisela, daughter of the Duke of Bavaria, had brought German knights to the Hungarian court. With their support, Stephen defeated Koppány's forces in a prolonged struggle that would determine Hungary's future. Stephen's coronation in 1000 AD marked the birth of an independent Hungarian kingdom in the heart of Europe. We know from the chronicles that for Stephen, Christianity was not only a political decision, but a personal, faith-based choice. His marriage with Gisela was characterized by mutual admiration and affection. Gisela played a fundamental role in spreading the Christian faith and the Western culture. István modeled his Christian state on Western principles. He claimed the right of investiture, appointing bishops himself, and divided the country into counties, a system we still have today, led by loyal governors. By the late 1020s, the entire country acknowledged his rule, achieved through both conquest and strategic marriages. Simultaneously, he established the ecclesiastical system, 8 bishoprics and 2 archbishoprics across the nation, each endowed with substantial lands. The basilica at Székesfehérvár became the coronation site and royal center, symbolically intertwining state administration with religious authority. Education flourished in monasteries, where Latin script replaced the ancient runic writings. Stephen decreed that every 10 villages must build a church. Church attendance and Catholic practice became mandatory. His 2 legal codes overrode centuries of customary law, though many traditional practices were incorporated into the written laws. Through these reforms, Stephen completed the work of his father and grandfather and created a Western-style Christian state in the Carpathian Basin. 10 centuries later, we are still here, still a nation where Christian values remain influential. Though for many today, this represents cultural identity rather than religious conviction. Hungary remains a nation shaped by Stephen's vision. Yet the question of faith and identity sparks debate. Some argue that forced Christianization harmed more than helped, that it turned Magyar against Magyar, abandoning ancient traditions for foreign Western culture. Others praise Géza and Stephen's political wisdom, recognizing that Christianity secured Hungary's survival in a turbulent Europe, yet mourn the rich Hungarian culture sacrificed for the integration. Interestingly, modern Hungary, in searching for her roots, sees a revival of neo-pagan movements, blending elements of ancient Magyar beliefs with Christian philosophies. These movements claim that the ancient Magyars were monotheistic, unlike neighboring peoples, while emphasizing reverence for the Blessed Virgin Mary and nature worship. Historical records reveal that the Magyar people maintained pagan burial customs well into the 1300s, worshipping at trees, springs, and stones alongside attending churches. We have records of priests facing inquisition for blessing falcons during Christmas ceremonies according to ancient customs. Around 1221, Pál Magyar, head of the Dominican order, declared, "Those who honor the sun through divine revelation do not sin, and I say this for the benefit of the ancient Magyar priests, even if this revelation comes from the supreme being of the ancients, for this is to be identified with God." What we know today as ancient Magyar church teachings appears to be a unique blend created by merging old pagan beliefs with Christianity. And indeed, the Hungarian soul remains complex. Most Hungarians today express desire to connect with the Western world and European culture. But the culture in Europe is shifting. Europe has become the world's first post-Christian continent. While 2/3 of the society nominally identifies as Christian, only about 20% regularly practice their faith. In Hungary, 70% identifies as Catholic in 1930. By 2022, this drops down to 27.5%. Reformed Church membership shows a similar decline, nearly 20% in the 1930s and less than 10% in 2022. Modern Hungary is a diverse and increasingly secular society. Though most Hungarians may not attend church regularly, they honor traditions and Christian values, which sometimes puts us at odds with the increasingly secular Western Europe. Saint Stephen is revered both as a saint and a nation founder. August 20th, St. Stephen's Day, has been a national holiday since 1771 and a state holiday since 1991. In Budapest, the day bursts with life. Grand military parades, and open-air mass before the St. Stephen Basilica, and dazzling fireworks over the Danube in the evening. Special traditions include the blessing of the new bread, symbolizing both harvest and national renewal. Traditional Hungarian clothing fills the fairs, celebrating Hungarian crafts, food, music, and culture. For centuries, August 20th has been a mirror of Hungarian identity, a reminder of where we came from, who we are, and who we might become. It's a day to honor Stephen's vision, which anchored Hungary in Europe. As we celebrate, we reflect. In a rapidly changing world, what does it mean to be Hungarian? This question, born 1,000 years ago, continue to inspire and challenge us today. The story of Hungarian State Foundation is ultimately a story about us, about how peoples and nations navigate change, find their identity, and build lasting legacies. St. Stephen's Hungary teaches us that sometimes the most profound act of conservation is transformation itself. If you found this video interesting or if it blessed you in any way, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others. Thank you and see you soon. Bye-bye.